So Apple announced all of their products the other day, from the AirPods Pro to the Apple Watch and the iPhone. But the only thing that I was really interested in throughout that whole little presentation that Apple put on was any and everything about the iPhone. That's the only thing that I was interested in, all iPhone. So we're going to talk about it real quick. So this year we're going to have 4 versions of the iPhone. We're going to have the iPhone 14, the 14 Plus, the 14 Pro, and the 14 Pro Max. And all of those devices across the board, no matter how you look at it, you're either going to get one of 2 sizes, 6.1 or 6.7 for the big boys, all right? So just the regular iPhone and 14 Pro is going to be 6.1, 6.7 for the Plus and the Pro Max, all right? So for the regular iPhone, the colors this year is going to be blue, you're going to have purple, you're going to have a midnight, you're going to have starlight, and you're going to have product red, all right? Now, real quick, I know a lot of you guys already saw all of this stuff already. It's been floating around the internet since Apple, announced this stuff the other day, so I won't bore you too long. I just kind of want to talk a little bit about the iPhone 14 in general, 14, 14 Pro, Pro Max, and so forth, right? So some of the things that I liked about the iPhone 14 Pro line was how they did the little peel shape, which I think they call it now the dynamic island. That thing is just amazing, man. For them to take that little notch and put, some tech inside that notch, man, and make it kind of, user-friendly and to where you can interact with it, I think that is amazing. The cameras and all of that stuff on the iPhone Pro models is always going to be up to par, man. 48 megapixels, but apparently when you shoot, just standard photos, it's like 12 megapixels, but it can go up to 48, like shooting raw and so forth. Stuff like that is just amazing and over the top. Real quick, another thing they was talking about, you're going to get a lot of, great battery life if you was to get something like the 14 Plus, all right? But keep in mind, getting the 14 Plus is just kind of like, it's not going to have all those features as the 14 Pro Max. So, of course, the battery life is going to be great. The 14 Pro Max, well, the Pro models in general, this year they're going to have like an always-on display. But, the 14 and the, 14 Plus won't have that. So, obviously, battery life will be better on those devices in general. But to finally see them do an always-on display, man, that's going to be amazing, man. I can't wait to see it. I'm going to be honest with you guys right now, tell you right now before we even get to the end of this video, I'm still probably going to go with the iPhone 14. I'm kind of in between the 14 and the 14 Plus. I know for a fact 100% I will be getting my wife the Pro because she utilizes her camera every day for her business. So her camera on her phone has to always be top notch. So no matter what, she will always have a Pro model. And I'll just be able to use her Pro model if I wanted to kind of show it to you guys and kind of go around the device and things like that. But for me personally, I think I'm just going to stick with the 14. And one of the main reasons I'm going to stick with the 14 model in general, just the plain 14 model, is because of my workflow and what I use my iPhone for. I don't use my iPhone. I'm not like a power heavy user. So I don't use my iPhone for a whole lot of things, except for like content creation. That's really all I use it for is content creation. I surf the web a little bit, and I just answer phone calls and text messages and stuff like that. That's all I really do on it. So I don't really take advantage of all of the features. Now keep in mind, those 14 Pro features are amazing and I can see how they will be useful to me. But at the same time, I know after a while, being and using a lot of Apple products, that stuff has a tendency to kind of wear off on me. And then I go back into my small little ecosystem and my small workflow. And before you know it, a lot of features I'm not even using. That's why I kind of shied away from Android at one point and came back over to Apple because I don't use all the features. So real quick, let's talk about the pricing of the iPhone 14 and the 14 Plus. Okay, so just for the iPhone 14, just the regular iPhone 14, it's going to start at $799, all right? $799. But if you was to get a 256 gig, then it's going to be $899. And then if you get a 512, that's going to be $1,099, all right? And that's for the regular iPhone 14. Now, if you go with something like the iPhone Plus, you're going to be looking at $899 for 128 gigs. 256 gigs is going to run you about $999. And 512 gigs will run you about $1199. So let's talk about the prices for the Pro real quick. So just the Pro, not the Max, but just the Pro is going to start at $999, and 256 will run you $1,099. 512 will run you $1,299, and 1 terabyte will run you $1,499. And the colors are deep purple, gold, silver, and space black. All right. For the Pro Max, we're looking at, to start, we're looking at $1,099. 256, we're looking at $1199, 512, $1399, and 1 terabyte, we're looking at $1599, and those colors are exactly the same, all right? And as far as chipset goes, the Pro model will get the A16 chip, and the iPhone 14, just the standard 14, will get the A15 chip from last year. So that just goes to tell you, do not slip on the iPhone 13 Pro, all right? We're still going to be rocking that same chip from last year in just the standard 14 model. So if you want the new chip, you're gonna have to go up to the Pro or the Pro Max. Now, even though the iPhone 14 standard, just the regular iPhone 14 is gonna have the A15 Bionic chip, this year they are bringing something called Action Mode to the iPhone 14 in general. So it's basically kind of like, you know, a better stabilization. So you really kind of sort of wouldn't need a gimbal, even though I still would say that having a gimbal is probably the best stabilization you're going to get on a 3-axis anyway. But apparently, you know, in the new iPhone 14, they're going to have action mode, so you can take advantage of that. So if you need to do like a running shot, or you in an area where it's going to be kind of bumpy, or like if you're driving and it's going to be bumpy, you can click it into action mode and you should be able to get some good stabilization out of that. So be on the lookout for that action mode. It should be a good thing for the iPhone. But one thing that all of the iPhones do have in common is iOS 16. So keep that in mind no matter which phone you do get. I mean, even if you got a 12 or a 13, just keep in mind we'll all be on iOS 16. So we'll all have the latest and greatest operating system. And on top of that, like I said, the 13 and the 14 is both are going to be running that A15 chip. So in reality, you know, iOS 16, both the 13 and the 14 running the A15 Bionic chip, man, you'll be good to go, all right? And another cool feature that's across the board for all of the iPhones is the emergency SOS and crash detection. So no matter which one you get, you'll also be able to take advantage of that feature. And I think that is a really cool feature, just in case something was to happen to you while you was out on the road, or just in general, you know, your phone will be able to kind of detect that, that you're in a crash and so forth, and be able to get you some help, man. So that is a really cool feature as well. Now, I know I didn't give you guys all of the specs for the 14 and the 14 Pro, but that was just some of the things that I was thinking about. Am I going to upgrade to the 14? Yes, and you guys will see that video coming soon, all right? Anyway, it's been your man Jay, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.